I think people expected really, because of course the pandemic happened and things kind of took a step backwards, and then we went into last year where things got substantially better towards the end. Like I thought there was a real lot of optimism around stage 4, stage 5, especially stage 5 major, when the fans were back and the storylines were great, and then champs as well was a surprise that like there wasn't more issues with COVID and stuff, and we had a great event, and obviously FaZe won it. There was a lot of optimism around that time, but of course the game comes out, it's not where we'd like it to be for competitive or for public matches by any means. The support is not where it needs to be either, and it just seems like things have not taken any advances, and the things that have been confirmed, if anything, have been a step backwards. So just I think all these frustrations kind of culminated. The main one I really think being the fact that the season starts so late. That's the real frustrating part to me. There's two things that annoy me the most. Firstly, the game is terrible. If the game was better, I think a lot of the problems would be fixed, or at least it wouldn't be as bad as it is. And also just the fact that we have to wait so long gives more time for this stuff to get frustrating, especially with what Halo's doing. So that's another discussion, but like HECZ was talking about the fact that he doesn't even go to these meetings anymore. He just sends someone to go and take notes because they never listen to what he has to say anyway. He hasn't been to one for like 6 months, he reckons. And Nadeshot said a similar thing. He also did a kind of crazy damning tweet that basically said, look, I came to my board of directors or investor group at 100 Thieves and said, look, give me the money to make LA Thieves happen. I'm going to make it a success. And then says, look, I guess I was a fool for doing that, right? With the lack of support that Activision are giving, almost kind of suggesting like, look, I wish I hadn't invested in the CDL, which is kind of a crazy thing for an owner to say. So yeah, I guess that's some nice positive thoughts there. I don't know if you have any perspective on this line really, because obviously people haven't been too happy about it. There's some small optimism that things might change in the future if people, if they're listening to what Halo's doing, but a lot of suggestions are being made that the people at the CDL want to do the best they can, but it's kind of the higher ups at Activision that don't give the resources necessary to make the changes that we'd like to see.
I can't really speak about like the higher ups because I don't really know what's going on. I don't think really anyone knows. But I think the hardest part has been the fact that Halo has done things really well this year has put a spotlight on how poorly COD has handled the league, especially in the last 3 years. Because if we look back at 2018, CWL Vegas was only what, a month after the game came out?
December
And that
7th,
year,
that started.
yeah, like a month and a little bit. And it's just been really hard this year, especially because when you look at the investment that these groups put into the league, especially like Nadeshot, I feel really bad for him because previously with 100 Thieves, they were looking so good going into that year in Black Ops 4. And I can assume that he was expecting the same sort of success this last year and this year. But it's just the league hasn't been, or not the league, but Activision itself has not been giving them the backing they deserve for the investment they've put in. And that's just, I think, the hardest part about all these teams like Nadeshot and like HECZ and how things have gone wrong. But yeah, anyway, I don't really want to dwell on this because it just makes me sad.
Yeah, I think what a lot of fans and I mean even owners are like, they just expect more than what people are getting, and they also expect some sort of like transparency with stuff. Which, when's the last time the COD League Twitter has said anything or basically like put out anything to like reassure fans? Like what's going on with game modes, maps, walls, doors. Like there's no real like whenever there's an issue like in Halo right now, they have somebody that talks to the public. They have somebody that says the news, that says everything to the players and stuff. That I feel like that's what a lot of teams and players and fans are jealous of, that we really don't get that. And I think that would be one of the easiest things to take away a lot of the anger that people have, is just adding transparency, explaining that, a lot of the things are out of the COD League's hands. Like they can't. There's some things they can do and some things they can't do. But fans just don't understand that because there's no transparency. So hopefully that is something where that we do get like in the future.
CDL kickoff, right? Coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Ideally, this event should matter, right? There should be something on the line at this part in the season. But because there's not, I don't mind the fact that it's single limb. I'm just happy that there's a champion, because the last 2 years we've had kickoffs, there wasn't a champion. Minnesota launch weekend in 2020, it was just each team plays 2 matches and then you go home. Last year, it was pretty sure the same story. This year, there's a proper event with a champion. So yes, it's single limb, but we get all 12 teams at a LAN in Texas. One team wins at the end of it, creates huge amount of storylines for the year. So honestly, I'm happy about it. If there's money, great. If there's not, whatever. There's no points for the year. I think that there should be some points, right? Like, I don't know, they should do something to give a team a head start if they win. I don't know. But still, it's better than it was last year. So I'm actually happy about that. Don't know what you think, Austin.
Yeah, this should have been like what they did in like December. They should have had one
exactly.
they should have had one at the beginning of December, one in January. You can just how the NFL has multiple preseason games. You can, if you don't want to start the season, you still have multiple preseason tournaments. Like I am happy that this is definitely a huge step up from what we had last year. I think everyone can agree that having two random games that are supposed to be preseason that awards you points, and it's two fixed matchups that the Seattle did. That should not have been a thing. So like this is a huge improvement. That's like you can give them credit. Huge improvement. All 12 teams are there. Huge improvement. They're all starting in the winners bracket. That's a huge improvement. Single limb, I get it. I do, just because isn't it? It's only like 2 days, right?
I think it's 3 days.
3 days.
Still, quite a lot of matches.
Yeah. And like this is basically going to be a warm up for the CDL production going into the new year. Like I do understand where they want to try some stuff out, be able to come back for when the major starts, or like the actual season starts, and do that. So I do get it. It's a preseason tournament. It doesn't have to be double limb, but everyone would like that. If there's no money, like whatever, I'm just happy there's a tournament that people can play, and will still be taken seriously. It's a great to get back into the vibe of being in a tournament, being and it's at LAN. So yeah, being at LAN. So it's pretty awesome, honestly. I take this over what we had last year, and hopefully they take the criticism. I think that, because I don't know, I feel like there has been some criticism towards it. I just hope they just continuously make the preseason events better and better as they go.
I mean, it's definitely a step in the right direction. But you mentioned it should be earlier. I think maybe they should have at least 2 before the season starts. And I did just look. I don't think there is a prize pool. Nothing's been announced. But it would be pretty cool if us at Breaking Point put up like 4K for the winner or something. Like, be like, we could do that.
Yeah, for sure. We could do that.
But yeah, no,
Give Austin a massive check. It's like 20 quid, but it's a massive check. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think, yeah, I'm just excited to see some form of competitive COD, because it's been so long. It's been since August? So
end of August, yeah. It's been tough.
Yeah. So I'm just excited to see some COD, and I think that's what they were going for by making it take so long. But the fact that the season is still going to only be 6 months long is, I don't know, just not how it should be. But anyway,
minimum 2 weeks after the game launch.
Yeah,
preseason. 2 weeks before the season starts.
At least even a month, but 2.5 months before the league starts is just not it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. To me, if next year they do what they've got now, this preseason kickoff event, if they do that in mid-December, like when Halo did the Raleigh event, like that's a big improvement, even if it's not like right after the game launches, but even if it's just mid-December, like it used to be in the CWL days, and there's a kickoff event then, and then like in January, either the league starts on like the 5th of January, or there's another big event, right? Something like that in January, and then the league starts in February. I don't mind, but I just, needs to be something big in December.
Remember Black Ops 3? It was like the week after Totino's Invitational. That was
mad,
crazy,
right?
Like, because I mean, I remember Formal had touched the game for about 4 hours, so he had a 0.7, but it was still exciting.
I'm okay with that though.
Yeah, like it was.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a prize pool, nice little.
See how it went. Everyone was using like the lethal weapon specialists instead of the actual like tactical ones. Like Annihilator round 11 was really strange, but it was nice to like see the game in that early state as well.
Exactly, it's fun. It's the same thing in Infinite Warfare, right? When right at the start of December, it was maybe the 3rd to the 5th of December, they had the Vegas event that Rise won when Facento was MVP with Skinny Bart and the Osa. And it was like, okay, mad, it's pretty. it used to be fun because anyone could win those early events, and it's like that'd be perfect for this game because we know that the CODs take a while to get good, but that's fine if you have a kickoff event with some money, and you don't have to give points. Maybe give the winner some points or something, but
Yeah.
like just something to watch, right, and something to build storylines and see who is the best team because we don't know who's the best team. Like we should have an idea.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, like league matches, like this is why league matches are important. This is why preseason events. You do not get very many options mid-season. So like think about it last year. You had 5 stage matches, then you had the major. You do not get many chances to practice your map pool in a live event, right? You don't get to take risks on a map that you're unsure of, that maybe you want to see if you can grow on it. That is the best thing that came from Black Ops 4 is those like 20 league match mini seasons they had per month. You could just try out maps all the time. Like you didn't have to take every series as serious. Like you could still take it very serious, but you can do your vetoes differently. You don't have that now. That's why it's really, really, really hard to develop your map pool. Because even though you're good at something in a practice, like last year we were something crazy like 92-5 in APOC at one point, but we were like 2-4 in league matches because we just didn't get a chance to practice that enough, right? And that was us saying that. And so like what they should be doing is having a lot of league matches at the beginning of the season, have preseason of matches at the beginning of the season, allow teams to develop their map pool, get their structure down, because that's literally what the beginning of the season is for, experimenting and getting your structure down. And then at the end of the season, you have more tournaments, less league matches. There's more just like straight up just like CDL Anaheim's just tournament. Like you don't need the league matches at the end of the season. Like that's where people check out because they don't want to watch us play LAG for the 5th time in the year over a meaningless league match. They want to see tournaments where stuff's on the line. So like that's the one thing I hope they change. Preseason and league matches at the beginning of the year, tournaments only at the end of the year.